when I created this, I thought this was going to be a Zoom. So, here we are.
Whoops.
Yep, so a little bit about me. No, this is not a Denver accent. I'm from Mississippi. I moved here 15 years ago. I got my undergrad in psychology and my master's degree in community development. And I got out of school in a very small town in Mississippi, and there were no jobs in what I went to school for. So I got into sales, and I've been in that ever since. I started in the gourmet food industry. I was doing trade shows all over the nation, running stores, and then I decided I was going to move here. So I moved here, still in sales, still doing trade shows. I worked for a perfume designer, I worked for a funny t-shirt company, and I worked for a marketing company. So in all of that, I was networking a lot, and I met these two gals who were in real estate, and they were like, "You'd be great in real estate." And I was like, "I don't know about that. It's terrifying. Commission only sounds awful." And it still sounds awful, but we do it.
Still terrifying.
Still terrifying. But I was like, okay, let's just buy a house first. So we bought a house, and then 3 years later, I jumped in feet first, and I've been in real estate ever since. So I got my license, took my classes, I did it like a job, 40 hours a day, took my test, passed right out of the gate, first time, hung my license at 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐞𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐦𝐩𝐬, and then I was like, okay, here we go. Well, we all know they don't teach us how to do real estate in school. I know how many square feet are an acre. I know, like, cap rates, never use that. All kinds of stuff, just trivia things, really. So I was like, okay, let's dive in, do all the classes. So I took 𝐓𝐢𝐦𝐽's Core. I don't know if any of y'all are at 𝐓𝐢𝐽's or started there. It's a great place to start, but started with Core, and they give you these challenges. They're like, go out, meet 100 people. It's like, okay, I'll go out and meet 100 people. So I didn't do it once, I did it twice, and I stood on the 16th Street Mall, introduced myself to everybody, did not meet a single buyer or seller. I had lunch bought for me, I had dinner bought for me, I had happy hour with a couple of people, but no leads. So then they're like, knock 100 doors, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I knocked 100 doors. Didn't get killed. No, it was great news. Don't really knock doors anymore. So I did that. I was like, all right, failed. So they're like, call everybody you know. Well, like I just said, I moved here from Mississippi. So everybody in Mississippi that wanted to sell a home, I could not help. So I didn't do that. Plus all my friends and family, they're like, oh, we're gonna do Advocare. These little green packages that are gonna be like a whole week's worth of nutrition in one little package, or Pampered Chef. People worrying the mess out of me about that stuff. So I was like, I do not want to be that person. So I didn't do that. So it was terrifying. So instead I did networking. So I was networking twice a day, 2 days, like 5 days a week. So you network, you're one of 15 people. Hey, my name is Sally, I'm a real estate agent, I'm blah, 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 set myself apart. So I started doing something funny. I'd be like, I'm Sally, I'm an alcoholic. Oh, wrong meeting, sorry. And then just to stand out, because people don't remember you when you're like, I help people buy and sell houses. And they're like, well, obviously, you're in real estate. That's what you said you just did. So then the next step in networking is one-on-ones. So then I had one-on-ones all the time, spending money on coffee that I did not need to be spending on coffee. So I finally met this one. I just, met a lot of people. But this one gal, she's like, my husband works with a guy whose sister is marrying a man who wants to buy a house. So I was like, okay, first lead. So I was like, all right, let's meet this guy. So this was before it was like, don't meet strangers at houses, right? So I met this guy. He's like, purple Porsche pulls up. I was like, oh God, this must be this guy. All of a sudden, this huge dude, had to have been 7 feet tall, steps out with a booming voice. He actually did radio. And it was like, I want to buy a house. We go into this house. It's like hand dug out basement, crumbling foundation. It's terrible. So that was not the one. So we continued to look for houses. And during this, somebody I used to work with was like, oh, my guy I'm dating wants to buy a house. I was like, awesome. So find a house after seeing 20 places that smelled awful inside, like hoarders, animal hoarders, smelled like cats everywhere. It was gross. Wrote an offer, had it accepted, and then did the inspection. Well, the inspection turned up a lot of stuff because his price point was pretty low for the time, and he was like, I'm bailing. I'm done with this. We're not gonna move forward. We didn't even present an inspection objection, which I was grateful for because I did not know what to do there. So we ended up terminating, and then this man was like, I want to go back in and write a new offer for like $100,000 less than the original offer. I was like, well, I mean, I don't know much about how this works, but I know it doesn't work like that. So I fired that guy. I was like, nope, I don't feel comfortable doing this. So like, whatever. So I ended up finally finding a house for the guy with the booming voice. He is an investor I worked with for 5 years, and that was my first buy side. So I did one more transaction as a solo agent, and I was like, this is for the birds. I'm going to be poor. I don't want this. I've got bills to pay. It was only me at the time, living, alone. My cat wasn't going to get a job. So
Those lazy cats.
yeah, lazy cat. I know. I'm like, you're just want to eat and sleep all day long, and here I am working my tail off for you. And so I joined a team. Well, I became a buyer's agent, and that's all great. So I was like, all right, I'm going to learn from a pro, and I did. She had me doing open houses every weekend day, sometimes 2 a day, every Saturday, every Sunday. It was a lot, but it was working. So I was like, all right, we'll do all these open houses. I did them. That year I closed 16 deals my first year, all from open houses or friends and family, not really family, friends. But I couldn't do that. I was like, nope, I can't do this anymore, because when you're a buyer's agent, y'all all know if you have buyer's agent, if you've been one, you're not really working with someone, you're kind of working for them, because they're like, oh, I need you to do this. And I was like, I didn't get a real estate to be told what to do. I mean, I do by all my clients, but I didn't need somebody else telling me what to do. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the solo agent thing. So I got out of that and took Bold. Have any of y'all ever taken Bold with Keller Williams? Okay, so I took it twice. It was good. Like, they throw money on you when you're laying on the floor. It's got some unique things. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to be what I'm going to stick with, but whatever. So I didn't really stick with the open house stuff. So I was like, all right, that's, I did more networking. So anyway, it just kind of built itself. Treat people right, they tell people about you, and that grows and that grows and that grows. At least you hope so. So between doing open houses and networking, I grew my business. The following years, my goals and my sales have increased, and here I am today, still doing it. Never had a part-time job, never been a bartender, haven't driven Uber, haven't waited tables, thank goodness, because 2020 proved that that's not a good thing to fall back on. So I came to terms with the fact that, I would love to be treasure Davis and do all that work, but I like to travel. I like to have a life outside of that. I like to be able to have a morning routine. So these days, I try to keep everything, balanced, to where I take on what I can, and if I don't want to do it, or if I've got stuff going on, or they seem crazy, I just tell them no. So I don't really do that many open houses anymore, except on my own listings. I really don't seek them out. I just moved over to Nostalgic Homes with Encompass to try to maybe do some more open houses, because they're in my neighborhood, and then the more my neighbors see me, they already know what I do, then it'll be like, maybe like, I don't know, kind of like a snowball rolling down the hill kind of thing. But the one thing I do that has worked and continues to work every single day is I take wonderful care of every client that I have. I have from the get-go, and I will continue. But some ways that I do this is, like, if I'm going to show up to a showing with some coffee, I call them on the way, hey, would you like some coffee? Because there's not that jerkier than walk in to fresh Starbucks, and they're like, it's running late this morning, like, the kids were crazy, the cat threw up on the couch, I don't have time to get coffee. So I try to do that. I put all my printouts in a very nice folder in the order we're going to see them. I label them in case they get confused. Which is always helpful. I print out instructions if we're going to go to the front range, and I know for sure we're not going to have good reception, which is, I just did that this weekend. I'm available to my clients every moment I'm awake. My phone is on Do Not Disturb from 8:30 p.m. to 8:30 a.m. Outside of that, they get a pretty much immediate reply from me, because I've got this, I've got earphones in, or I've got my phone, it's got a hand holder. We're all going to have butt cancer, because it's always right here. But it's always with me. And so then I bring special items to inspection, so branded items. I have measuring tapes that I have with my name on them. I have a little book for them to take notes. I have a printout with like bed sizes. So, you know, instead of us following the inspector, what you doing over there? Is that where the filter goes? It's like, I know you're going to show us that at the end. So we're measuring rooms for beds, we're measuring rooms for couches, all of those things. And then I include their children in things. So like their kids, I'm like, ooh, what room's going to be your bedroom? You know, bring little toys if they seem like their kids are wild, like a little, you know, like a world that you squeeze or whatever. Because let's be real, I've had kids grab candy off the counter. They've got a banana before you know it, taking their shoes off, they're laying on the people's bed. I'm like, you don't know what's been going on there, don't you? Definitely don't want to be on that bed, I'm pretty sure. But on top of that, I've built a network of professionals that I consider a part of my team, like Treasure was talking about. So this includes my TC, who's been with me for 10 years. I have a cleaning crew I've been using for 8 years. I've literally never met them in person. I know that sounds crazy. They do a wonderful job. Everybody is always like, what are their names? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, because I need them available to me. They're wonderful. Like, they clean behind the fridge, under the fridge. They're great. I have my photographer I've been working with the whole time. He's an amazing dude. A list of inspectors that I have vetted, because I'm like, everybody's an inspector. Their point of entry is about as low as ours is. Pretty simple to be an inspector. Just like, it's pretty easy to get your real estate license. Now, to be good at it and be successful at it is a completely different story. And then I have a list of stagers, painters, a rotating door of HVAC guys, plumbers, landscapers, and pretty much everything in between. So I keep these guys busy. In return for that, for keeping them busy, I can't talk. They make themselves available to me. I'm first in line, and an inspection comes up. Then some HVAC needs to be done. My guy's ready the next day. Plumbing, same kind of thing. Sewer, same kind of thing. But what's helpful about that is that when we're looking at houses and everybody's like, oh, I don't like this. Like, you've got your perfectionist, you know, they've got a $300,000 budget, $800,000 taste. I don't like these counters, or I don't like this, or I don't like the way this door opens. And I'm like, well, okay, let's talk about this. Like, these are all little things. Paint and carpet. Hate a pink room. Okay, well, there's nothing easier to change than a pink room and ugly carpet. So it kind of helps me like tamper down their views and their thoughts, you know, hey, that's the cheapest thing you can do. And then it's also really good with my sellers. I can call my guys in, hey, it's going to cost this much to paint, and if you do, you can spend $5,000 on paint, but I can get you $40,000 more because this purple bathroom is very polarizing. So I stay in contact with my clients through monthly newsletters. I do quarterly gifts through Client Giant. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but it's amazing. It's a set it and forget it kind of thing. You just upload their info, and it's automatic. They're like, oh, I get calls all the time. Thank you so much for that thoughtful gift. And I'm like, it took me all week to think about what else I was going to do. It was amazing. And then, well, I do other little things. Like, I like to go to concerts. I like to go to plays. I like to go to sporting events. And so I buy tickets. Petra knows. She does the same thing. Buy tickets all the way out till next year, basically. Well, something comes up. We're in real estate. We can't help that. So I'm like, I can't go see Bon Jovi tonight. Well, I'm like, okay, well, I bet these clients of mine, they like music. I'll call them. I call through a list of folks. Maybe it's 10 folks. No. Then somebody's like, oh, we love them. Well, I don't sell them to them. I give them to them. And then, you know, those little things they remember. I do the pie event that was on the last, I keep forgetting to change. Whatever. So I mean, I just do little things like that for my clients so they remember me. I just started a YouTube channel I started it 2 years ago. I got started, I broke a leg. Nobody wants to watch videos of somebody just sitting on a couch. So I stopped, but then I started back. On top of what I do for my clients is I continue my education. So you know, like this Treasure was talking about, people take 15 weeks off. I know those people are not gone the whole time. I know they're hanging out, they're making cookies, they're watching Hallmark movies. They're doing literally everything but real estate. So during those times when I broke my leg, for instance, and I was on the couch and I stopped doing videos, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the best of this time. So I got my GRI. Then when rates skyrocketed a couple fourth quarters ago, which was terrifying, it's like real estate was like, that's all we got. We're not doing anything else. Buyers weren't buying, houses weren't selling, sellers weren't selling. It was a lot. So I got my CRS. I was like, all right, I've got this time. And then whenever all the NAR stuff hit the fan, you could get your ABR for free. So I got my ABR for free. So we're in a great position to just continue to grow as agents, and so few people do it, but we're learning little tricks of the trade every time we do something. So then to follow suit with all the things everybody's been talking about with Tom Ferry, let's see if we can find something about it. I don't know. Oh, there we go, kind of there. Too early for that. Okay, so I do Tom Ferry coaching. He's great. I love going to his events. I learn a lot about what other people are doing all over the nation. So, you know, people in Baltimore have a different market than us. There are people whose markets didn't skip a beat when rates got up because those people are buying $10 million houses in cash. They don't care what the rates are doing. In fact, they're taking advantage of not having competition. So I learned a lot about what's going on there. Some of it resonates with me and who I am as a person in our market, and some of it doesn't. But it's always good to be around the other successful people that are learning stuff and doing those things. So I also attend multiple national coaching and networking events every year. I just got back from Compass Retreat. I sat there for 3 days of the non-stop Tom Ferry things, and that was my second event of the year with him. My goal for each one of those and everything I do, everything I do, like networking wise, I try to meet one person who will be a great person to learn from. I try to find one person to be a really good referral partner, and then I just try to just get one little nugget of information that's going to help me change my business to where it's just going to run smoother. I'm going to get more leads. I'm going to do more business, whatever that looks like. So a few things that I would say have made me and my business what it is are I only do lead generation that I enjoy. I don't like calling strangers. I'm not going to pick up my phone and call all those people. To be honest, I really don't even call my past clients. I know I should. It's only at 2025. I know you don't either. You didn't even know one had moved away. At least I do know that they're moving away. Because I'm about with that gal on her. They always call me to sell their house. So, you know, if you like open houses, do those. If you like meeting strangers, get out there and kiss those babies and shake those hands. Don't do it on the 16th Street Mall, though. It's actually changed a whole lot. You're really not going to get anything you want. There are a lot of people who need homes there. I don't think we're going to be able to help them. But if you like knocking doors, do that. Just be safe about it. And then just really take care of your clients. I take care of my clients. I only work on referrals and repeat business right now. Occasionally I'll meet a stranger who needs some help and we connect. I do what I call bar farming. Well, you pony up to a bar and you have a beer by somebody and everybody's on their phone. So I'm like, hey, start up a conversation. Everybody needs a home, whether they want to buy one, rent one, whatever. They all need a home. So I do that. It really works. Bar farming. It's like farming a neighborhood, but you're doing things you enjoy and you're meeting other people who also enjoy those things. I did CrossFit, and when you do CrossFit, that's all people talk about. So, you know, they're always like, how's the market, Sally? And I'm like, oh God, it's great, or market rates are up, or whatever. But I got like 6 deals from that. And a hernia, so I had to stop. I'm very competitive, too competitive for CrossFit, so I had to stop. So, whatever. And then continuing education, very important, like I said. The one thing that I think 85% of the agents I know do is it's like December 31st, and they're like, oh crap, we haven't taken our CE. Or the contracts class for 2024. So they're like drinking a glass of champagne, slamming it back 12:31 at 6 o'clock, getting ready to go out, doing their classes. They're like, done, just in time. Nobody's gonna have to do the license renewal class this year for me. But you miss all the important contract changes. You miss all the good stuff that you could have been using against all the other agents who were like you all year long. And when the new one's released, you do the same thing. Maybe not y'all, but a lot of people. So, and then the one thing that I think so few people do is treat the agents on the other side of the transaction really well. Like, I can't say that it's reciprocated all the time. In fact, I got a list about this long. When I see their name show in my listings, I'm like, or I see their sign in the yard and we pull up, I'm like, I know this agent. And I'm like, please, God, don't like this house. We'll write an offer on it, we'll get through it. But that's half the job. We network with, we're all here right now. There's no sense. And when Petra was an agent, I called her, I'm like, hey Petra, she'd be like, yes, send an offer, I want to work with you. And that's what you want from other agents. And that's what I hope most agents think of when they see me. So lastly, I don't know how many nuggets y'all are going to glean from that in terms of the final takeaway. Maybe everybody will go bar farm this holiday season. But lastly, we have to keep our heads up in this career. It's not for the faint of the heart. We get kicked in the teeth day in, day out. When you do call people, they hang up on you. It used to be fun for them. Now they're like, and you're like, that's right, hang up on them. And you know, it's rewarding, I love it, and I can't imagine doing anything else. And that's all I got.
That Sallie did at Tom Ferry when she was networking, she made a t-shirt with a QR code. It said, I sell Denver.
Oh.
And so people that needed the referral for looking for an agent in Denver for one of their people, they were scanning and going to our website. So just some creative, out of the box, innovative things. That's fun. And it's not in your face, right? I mean, it's right there. So yeah, she's very, very creative. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for being my client.